after we had moved to California.
His father, Gordon Strickland, a business consultant. His parents have been divorced for 10 years.
And we're driving up to the house, and we see a police car on the side of the road with 3 kids on their knees handcuffed. And as we're driving by, I said, one of those looks like David. And we drove by, and it was David.
A lot of it was that boys will be boys, and boys are wild as teenagers, and I think we didn't address it probably as seriously as we should have at the time.
My horse. Yeah.
But after all, his mother says, between the bouts of drinking, there was so much success. Strickland went from parking cars and student films to bit parts, and then a recurring role on Mad About You.
Great. Grab my belt. Yeah, I got it. All right? So if I'm like, okay, give me the camera? Yeah.
But finally, with Suddenly Susan, there was a glimpse of some ravaging secret her son could not name.
The first time that I noticed there was something wrong with David was in October of 1997, during the 2nd season of Suddenly Susan. One night I had dinner with him and his girlfriend, and it was obvious there was something terribly wrong with him.
Oh.
He seemed extremely irritable. So irritable that he almost couldn't process what we were trying to talk to him about.
He started therapy, but still, 1 month later, November 1997.
David had his first disappearing episode where he was gone overnight and we couldn't find him. And again, it seemed to come absolutely out of the blue. No warning. He was fine, and then he was gone.
We would just treat it as an alcoholic episode, which is really what it seemed to be at the time.
And when he came back, would he talk to you about it?
He would talk about it, but it was something that he wasn't proud of. He was very embarrassed about it.
And I actually tried to have him admitted to a hospital at that time, and was told that unless he was imminently suicidal, that they would not admit him.
I remember one of the first times he said to me, "Oh boy, oh boy." And I said, "What, melodrama man, what's the matter now?" And he just said, after I left you, I went and I pounded like 7 beers at a bar for no apparent reason. And the thing that was more devastating was the depression that followed.
But not long after the depression, the old energy would be back.
What a rush, huh?
A little wild, a little out of control, but it seemed to his friends that was just David.
There were times when he would call repeatedly in a day, like one after another.
To talk about what?
It really was nothing. It literally was just another thought in his head, and it just it was nothing.
Drive you a little bit crazy?
Yeah, at times, you know. Drove my girlfriend crazy. Because he would call 10, 20 times a day sometimes. And I realized, okay, this is not just your best buddy wanting to hang out and talk to you. This is somebody who's fighting something.
He ate at an unbelievable pace. He was always in a rush. He seemed in a rush.
He over-exercised to compensate. He also developed a terrible, terrible insomnia.
In fact, they simply couldn't see that his ecstatic vitality was a brightly lit version of hell.
It is concrete, and it is abstract, and it is overwhelming.
Dr. Kay Jamison, professor of psychiatry at Johns Hopkins University, has written of her own battle with mental illness and the lure of suicide. She says it takes a heroic struggle to live with what she's called the electrifying carnival inside your brain.
How does someone who has an acute illness hold it together for work?
I laugh because I've worked in academic psychiatry departments for 20 years. I've been a professor of psychiatry. I have manic depression. I have been severely psychotic. I have been suicidally depressed. I've attempted suicide. If you ask my colleagues at UCLA and Johns Hopkins before I went public about it, next to no one would have had any idea that I'd been ill.
January 1998.
The next step was a pretty drastic turn. David had a very serious suicide attempt, and he ended up in the hospital.
It came as a complete shock. I mean, a complete shock. And then 3 days after that, he was making a whole audience full of people laugh.
Somehow, in the hospital, David Strickland managed to learn his lines.
You know, I always thought that you were as open and accepting as a manicotti shell.
Only Nestor and Brooke knew that in this episode, he's wearing long sleeves to try to hide the 3-day-old scars on his wrists.
He said to me after the first attempt, I said, what is it? What happens? He said, it is a level of devastation that you cannot fathom.
Was he embarrassed to show you the scars?
No, I didn't feel he was embarrassed, you know. I made him, you know. I said, I want to know, show it to me, show me everything. And I remember kissing them because it was like the only thing I could do. I was like, what can I give you? What can I do, you know?
But the suicide attempt had at least brought him to the psychiatric ward of the hospital, where his erratic behavior was finally named. Manic depression, being body slammed by your own moods, extreme highs and crushing lows. An illness that, left untreated, has the power to destroy.
2 million people have what is called bipolar disorder. It often masquerades as alcoholism or drug abuse and begins during adolescence. As in the case of David Strickland, the symptoms can go on for years before the disorder is diagnosed. When we come back, more of David's story.
A broken man cries out to a friend.
He would come and he'd say, I'm dying here, Brooke, I'm dying. It's killing me today.
David Strickland desperately wages his own private war when 2020 continues.
So what'll happen to all this now that you're going virtual?
We're not going virtual.
I read you're getting into internet trading, online cash management.
Well, we are, yep.
The end of an era.
Not at all. Online trading and the rest of it are simply new tools we're making available.
You don't have to sugarcoat it for me, but I must tell you, I'm going to miss our little chats.
Nelson, I'm not going away. The office isn't going away.
The coffee? The ticker?
Not going away.
What about the little bull?
Not going away.
Good.
Love me forever and let forever begin tonight.
The newly styled Lexus ES 300. Let the affair begin.
Hi, I'm Michael Jordan.
I'm Elmer Fudd.
Big news. America's going crazy for MCI 5 cents every day. Now it's 5 cents a minute every evening and all weekend long.
Now, a roving reporter. Let's find out how a typical American feels about MCI's 5 cents every day offer.
I'm speechless.
I'm soaked.
Now, Michael, so just call 1-800 every day to join.
Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
Kids, we're raising your allowance.
Some credit card companies offer year-end rewards.
To 25 airline miles a week.
Everything from airline miles to gasoline.
I'm so proud of you.
But if you think about it, just how useful are they?
And finally, to my wife, I bequeath 12 car rental upgrades.
But Discover Card gives something people might actually want.
Cash?
Good old U.S. greenbacks.
I got 50s.
Cashback bonus award. There's always something more to discover.
The future is coming. You gotta catch it if you can. The magic's unfolding, and you can hold it in your hand. We can touch tomorrow today. Make some memories that never fade away.
Come make memories that'll last a lifetime at our year-long Millennium Celebration. Call 1-407-WDisney.
Celebrate the future hand in hand.
On The Partridge Family, David Cassidy was television's favorite son.
I'm a free spirit.
But his fans didn't know the truth.
So many girls, so little time.
He was no Keith Partridge.
Backstage at one of my concerts is no place for a kid.
Backstage at your concerts are no place for Hugh Hefner.
Come on, get happy. The Partridge Family story, Saturday 9, 8 Central on ABC. Sunday.
What the hell is going on?
One of these people will be victimized. by someone close to Bobby.
You're gonna represent him?
I don't know.
Stick together in this office, Bobby.
An all-new practice.
You did more than touch them.
And it was so beautiful.
Sunday at 10/9 Central on ABC.
We continue now with our story about David Strickland, one of the stars of the television show Suddenly Susan. As we said, for the first time there was a diagnosis. Bipolar disorder, manic depression, those uncontrollable highs and then the crushing despair when his friends say he would disappear like a wounded animal, trying not to trouble those he loved. He was given therapy and medication, lithium. But lithium produces side effects like slow thinking, weight gain, and the terror of being different. So, as often happens with this disease, David Strickland decided he would try to go it alone.
I remember when he first went on the lithium, he said, I hate it. You know, I don't want to take something forever. And I said, you plan on exercising for the rest of your life? I said, yeah. I said, you plan on calling your mom every day? Yeah, of course. And I said, it's just one more thing that you're going to do every day to hopefully give you peace of mind.
Do you think he was afraid if he took the lithium he would lose his edge?
You know, a performer, your tools are your emotions. And I think it's uncomfortable to think that you're going to be playing with those emotions. So I think so. I'm sure part of him was concerned.
Legally, can you force someone to get treatment?
It's variable from state to state. I think society is beginning to recognize we've gone too far in the line of, quote, civil liberties, and not far enough to say, what is the problem here and how can we address it? And sometimes people have to be committed against their will because they simply are irrational and not functioning well. And they're dangerous to themselves.
But Strickland, like so many young people, was convinced that he could manage without lithium. 60% of manic depressives turn to a kind of self-medication, a self-defeating combination of alcohol and drugs like cocaine, which only increase the impulsive nature of the disease. When did you first hear about drugs?
I think he told me that there were drugs, and he was hanging out in places where people were doing drugs. And I was stunned and very frightened.
He would come and he'd say, I'm dying here, Brooke, I'm dying. It's killing me today.
Alcohol and drugs makes the underlying illness worse. It interferes with sleep, it interferes with judgment. It makes it more frequent and more severe.
You say at one point in the book that it's like loading the cylinders.
Right, of a gun.
Of a gun.
Yeah. It absolutely makes it more likely that you will kill yourself.
His friends say when Strickland felt an episode coming on, he would disappear into dangerous parts of town. He would wander anonymously through motels where prostitutes and crack dealers sell their drugs. Last year, he was caught in a cocaine bust and was given a 3-year sentence of counseling. All his mother and co-stars could do was set up a kind of relay, a rescue team.
We all went into different roles, you know. I was the one waiting at the other end of the phone. Karen would be calling me. Nestor would go out. He would be the one with the vehicle out.
Did you go out looking for him?
I did. I did.
To the crack hotels? Did you find him?
No.
But earlier this year, Strickland seemed so much better. His rescue team began to relax. For a few months, there were no disappearances. He had a new movie, Forces of Nature.
So take a look at me now.
He was making close to $1 million a year. He was fine, he said to everyone. Fine.
Was I too ready to believe him? Because it was easier. And I'd like to think I didn't do that, but it was easier. To hear him say, he's fine, he's got it all figured out. I did believe him a lot. Too long. Too long.
I was really comforted by the fact that everything was going so well. And unfortunately, it proved to be the calm before the storm.
One source of calm in people before they kill themselves is they've made a decision to put themselves out of what they perceive as irreparable pain. And so they are calm because they feel that their pain is going to be over. Another source of calm is deception. If you look at people who commit suicide on a psychiatric ward, for example, in 1/3 of those patients, the doctor will have written, patient is well or getting better, recovering.
On Saturday, March 20th, Strickland partied all night in L.A. and the next day, without telling anyone, flew to Las Vegas on no sleep with a new friend, actor Andy Dick of TV's News Radio. Back then, a self-admitted party boy.
Everyone who knew David knew that he was struggling with sobriety. And I think that if it had been David and somebody else had started drinking, he would have tried to stop him.
Do you know Andy Dick?
No. I know of him.
Do you have any thoughts about his role in this?
I mean, I have thoughts about Andy Dick in and of himself from what I do know. But, you know, he's got his own demons and his own things that he's probably going through. If it wasn't him, I think it would have been somebody else.
In Las Vegas, Strickland started what was to be his last binge. He and Andy Dick drank here at a strip joint called the Girls of Glitter Gulch. While back in California, his mother left word with Brooke Shields' roommate that he had disappeared again, and the team should go back on red alert.
And by the time I came home, she said to me, Karen's been calling. And I said, I don't want to know about it. I said, I don't want to know about it. I said, I don't want to have another night where I can't sleep. No. I said, I'm not going to do it anymore. So I said, I can't. You know, every time the phone rings, at a certain hour, I'm convinced it's the police telling me my mother is on the side of the road, you know? I thought, I can't love these two people anymore, and I can't do it anymore.
Sunday night, David Strickland left Andy Dick and spent $65 for a room at the Oasis Motel. In an unconfirmed report, a prostitute claimed that he paid her to sit and talk. In the early hours of Monday morning, he went out to the 7-Eleven to buy a 6-pack of beer, came back to his room alone. The next morning, when the maid walked in, she saw a row of beer bottles neatly lined up underneath a dead body.
David's lawyer called me and told me that they had found him in Las Vegas.
It's not supposed to happen like this, and I do feel that I somehow let him down.
That Monday, on the set of Suddenly Susan, Brooke and Nestor were gathering to rehearse when they were pulled aside and told the shattering news.
I can only imagine that he was fully aware that we had all gotten to a place that it was just so painful for us to see his pain, and we were all so helpless. I don't think he thought it was an insurmountable thing. I think he just didn't want to feel it anymore.
You know, I miss my best friend. I just miss all the inside jokes that you have with best friends, and
the everyday.
miss those 20 phone calls a day. And he made everybody laugh. He was just such a just a fun person and a good-natured person, and I'll never forget him.
The last episode of the season was a tribute to David Strickland, filled with love, laughter, and regret. When everybody writes that he had everything going for him, what is it he didn't have?
Well, I don't think he had the ability to say, I have a very serious life-threatening illness.
I wished him peace. I just wished him peace of mind. It gets me so mad when they say, oh, he had everything. Well, in a way, no, if he didn't have any quiet in his own head.
And now a couple of footnotes. The first from Dr. Jamison, who says that in cases of suicide, friends and family have often done absolutely everything they can without success. And just as no one would condemn the parents or friends of a child with cancer, no one should lay blame on the parents or friends of a child with mental illness. Also, Andy Dick gave a statement after Strickland's death saying, "Although I knew David for only a brief time, I very much enjoyed his company," adding, "It is a great loss." And Andy Dick has now said publicly that he is dealing with his own substance abuse. We'll be right back.
Look at those bargain prices, 25, 30, 50% off. But did you know you can end up paying more by shopping the sales? Arnold Diaz with a revealing investigation into those deals you can't refuse when 2020 continues.
51 days until the celebration of the century.
What's the question?
Hi.
Hi. Hey, what's with the makeup?
She's got a date. It's not a date, it's just a group thing.
Yeah, what time's this group thing over with?
10:30.
Whoa, try again.
All right, 10 o'clock.
And don't forget what we talked about, no?
Drinking and no smoking.
Right.
No kissing.
And no kissing.
So here, I have to go. Bye, Daddy.
Bye.
Talk to your kids about not smoking.
Hey, you want a cigarette? No, thanks.
They'll listen.
What were you saying? My hair is colored.
Until now, there has been a wall between you and the tools of serious trading. That wall is coming down. The information and technology professionals use to trade is now available to everyone. Daytech Online. The rules are changing.
I use new AllerCare Home Allergen Control because my daughter has allergies. And just look at her.
Introducing AllerCare Carpet Powder for dust mites. One monthly treatment eliminates up to 99.9% of dust mites. Recommended by allergists. Available in the cleaning aisle of your store.
She's doing great, but I'm the one who's relieved.
AllerCare to control dust mites and their allergens. Relief at last.
Ho, ho, ho.
It's Sears Portrait Studio's holiday sale with new portrait backgrounds and a holiday price, only $6.95 a sheet.
Ho, ho.
Choose from new holiday backgrounds too, like Toy Story 2 from Disney and Pixar's new movie. Or this new classic family background. Plus, this portrait ornament's free. For holiday portraits, only $6.95. Hurry in to Sears Holiday Sale.
Go, go, go!
Only at Sears Portrait Studio.
Get ready for America's favorite quiz show.
It's time to play What's in My Pants?
Not that. It's Whose Line Is It Anyway? See you Thursday at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
Earlier tonight.
He's right again for $32,000.
Way to go, Ted Batchel. Hey, Regis, what do you say we give the women a turn?
Come on, let's go.
Tomorrow, Beth Plummer goes for $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. Go to your local participating McDonald's for more details on how to play.
Does an advertised sale mean you're getting a great deal? Arnold Diaz does some comparison shopping, and you'll be surprised by what he found. And The Godfather speaks.
There's no money. Am I correct? As far as I know. As far as we know.
John Gotti's Prison Conversation, when 2020 continues, after this from our ABC stations.
Here's what's happening tonight on Action News at 11 with Jim Gardner. The wrong arm of the law. A local student is confused with the Center City rapist twice. See if you think he matches the sketch. Also, the USS New Jersey is coming home. Find out where you can go to see it happen. There, Action News takes you inside the mob for a revealing look at today's so-called wise guys. Mob Uncovered on Action News at 11.
Need to make dinner with what's on hand? Tell us what you've got. We'll tell you what you can make at craftfoods.com. Real help in real time.
I used to get headaches. Pounding, jackhammer headaches. But not anymore. What's my secret? Boston Market.
Don't get a headache over dinner. It's done. Come into Boston Market now and get a quarter dark rotisserie chicken, 2 sides, cornbread, and a Coke for just $4.99. And get apple pie for just 99 cents more.
It's just what the doctor ordered.
Boston Market. Dinner, it's done. Let Boston Market make your holiday dinner, too.
Dodge Durango can tow up to 7,350 pounds, over a quarter ton more than its nearest competitor. That's 2 extra dirt bikes, 1 more great big water toy, or 1 more baby grand. Hey, my Durango tows more toys. Gonna lose his wimpy towing blues. Dodge Durango, different.
This week at Value City, get holiday dresses and separates for about $17. You pay up to 5 times more at a department store. Hey, it's your money. Get more for it.
Let's be honest, everyone loves a bargain. And you may think it's pretty easy to find one on almost anything. Just wait a few days and the item you want is bound to go on sale. Well, Arnold Diaz has been comparing prices lately, and he's discovered a little-known secret about advertised sales.
Once upon a time, department store sales were something special. Hordes of shoppers would push their way in to take advantage of the limited time savings. Today, however, there are spring sales, July 4th sales, Labor Day sales, anniversary sales, 15-hour sales, Super Saturday, Super Sunday, extra discount day.
Is it my imagination, or are department stores always running sales?
Yeah, the frequency of sales has increased dramatically just in the 90s themselves.
University of Colorado marketing professor Donald Lichtenstein says consumers respond most to limited time offers in which sale prices are compared side by side to the regular price.
They create a sense of urgency. Buy now. You know, sale ends soon.
One-day sale this Saturday. Save 25 to 60% store-wide.
Whether it's a one-day sale or a week-long President's Day sale, consumers told me those ads do motivate them.
I would rush in to buy it at this price during the sale time.
That's because they assume when the sale ends, so do the sale prices.
Most likely it goes back up to the original price.
Goes back up?
Yeah.
Doesn't stay on sale?
No, because there's a time limit here.
I would expect that after the store closes that night, the prices should go up automatically the next morning.
You would think so, but what happened to prices at Hecht's the day after their one-day sale? We sent students from American University into Hecht stores in Washington, D.C. to find out. And not once during the 7 weeks they monitored prices was this dining set selling for what the ad claimed was the regular price. It was always on sale.
More than likely, the sale price is the regular price.
So what do you think about that?
I think that is unfair, and I think it's false advertisement.
This shopper may think so, but it's perfectly legal as long as the item sells at the regular price at other times throughout the year, and Hecht says that is the case. Sometimes sale practices might cross the line. In Wisconsin, investigators shot this undercover video at one major department store. Here, the saleswoman admits what investigators had suspected about the pots advertised as discounted from the regular price.
I know I bet it didn't sell at the regular price since Christmas. I'm right, aren't I?
Yes, you are. I've been here 8 months. It's never been off sale.
A sale is not really a sale when the sale price is essentially the true price of the product.
Bill Omican is Wisconsin's consumer affairs chief. His office has fined retailers for ads like this that advertise big discounts, half off, 60% off. But 60% off what? In small print, it says off the manufacturer's list price.
In most cases, those list price or manufacturer suggested retail prices have no bearing to reality.
Shimmering diamonds, gleaming gold, and glistening gemstones.
And just recently, JCPenney's signed a voluntary agreement with the Better Business Bureau to change its jewelry ads.
For substantial periods of time, the product was on sale.
The jewelry in the Penny stores and catalogs was on sale up to 70% of the time. And the BBB said what Penny's claimed were its regular prices on the jewelry were inflated.
If you create an environment in which the regular price is so inflated that almost no one would buy it unless it's your mother's birthday and you're desperate and it's the last minute, then that's not a realistic bona fide price.
In fact, some sales could end up costing you money, because studies show if you think you're getting a bargain, you're less likely to shop around. And as we found out, that can be an expensive mistake.
Let's say you went into Bloomingdale's and bought this KitchenAid mixer on sale, regularly $400, now down to $379. Then imagine you discovered, as we did, that the exact same mixer was selling for far less at 4 other stores. Their everyday prices up to $90 cheaper than Bloomingdale's sale price.
Oh my gosh, it's less than the sale prices.
I would feel ripped off.
This dresser from JCPenney's may seem like a good deal, regularly $779, on sale for just $609. But we found it at 2 local New Jersey stores for less, and it wasn't even on sale.
Anybody shopping for a bracelet like this might be tempted by Macy's ad. Regularly $1,200, on sale as a super buy for $599. How much better could you do than half off? A lot better, it turns out, if you look around.
We found a small New York jeweler selling the equivalent bracelet for $399, $200 below Macy's sale price. This one was $395 at Fortunoff's. And at another New York jeweler, this bracelet was just $309. That's almost 50% less than Macy's supposedly deep discount price. Macy's claims its bracelet is better quality, but we had a certified jewelry appraiser evaluate them, and he concluded all 4 are of similar value.
Does this make you think maybe I should comparison shop?
Of course.
Let the buyer beware.
That's the bottom line.
No one's going to be looking out after your own pocketbook except you.
So when it comes to sale ads, be smart, be skeptical, and shop around.
And guess what? Even the advertised sale price may not be the lowest price. Because when we called Bloomingdale's and JCPenney, they said they would match their competitors' prices. So it really does pay to shop around. You can negotiate even at department stores. We'll be right back.
Coming up, notorious crime boss John Gotti. His daughter visits him in prison and gets scolded for not honoring his holiday request.
Did you hear me ask the last 2 years in a row my family to please put all the kids together and send me a group picture at Christmas time?
You'll get an earful of John Gotti when 2020 continues.
There are moments in our lives we treasure, moments unlike any other. Incredible moments when it seems anything we want could be ours. Not this moment. These moments. Visa Magic Moments. Every day in November and December, there are Visa Magic Moments. Those moments when your purchase is absolutely free. So keep using your Visa card because every moment counts. Some more than others. Visa Magic Moments, they're everywhere you want to be.
Let's be honest. There's really no such thing as a gracious winner. You might say things like nice game or shake your opponent's hand. But no matter how humble you are on the outside, deep down on the inside, you're saying, I'm better than you are. The Mitsubishi Galant, ranked the #1 family sedan under 20 grand by Car and Driver. Better than Accord or Camry. Boy, we just love saying that.
10,750, 10,502, 9,500. 13,400. No. 6,780.
Visit E-Trade today and guess the year-end Dow for a chance to win $1 million. It's time for E-Trade.
ABC News 2020, now in its 21st year. Winner of over 350 prestigious awards for excellence in broadcast journalism.
Tonight, Dogma, the Ungodly Review.
This is not the Divine Comedy. This is Satan meets South Park.
We tried to get Rose Kennedy, and it didn't pan out for us.
Politically Incorrect tonight. Mitch promised Maury he'd never work just for money.
You're going to keep in touch. You got to promise me. I promise.
But he traded promises for deadlines, headlines, and a big paycheck. Then one night,
Just who is Maury Schwartz?
Mitch and Maury got a second chance.
You made a big success, but you ran. Did you ever stop to think about what you're running from?
Jack Lemmon, Hank Azaria, the national bestseller comes to ABC. Oprah Winfrey presents Tuesdays with Maury, Sunday, December 5th.
When you look at the cost of raising a family today, just making it is quite an accomplishment. But if you're a homeowner behind on your bills, Champion's Clean Slate program can mean the difference between getting by and getting ahead. Clean Slate can reduce your monthly payments by as much as half. It's a chance to breathe, a chance to save, a chance to make your life more livable. Call 1-800-CHAMPION for details. Isn't today a great day for a new beginning? When your bank says no, Champion says yes.
What can I put in my creamy cottage cheese to make it taste so good even kids will eat it? I'll think of it. Well, my name isn't Sam Breakstone. Think, what could it be? Something sweet, perhaps.
Breakstone's Cottage Doubles combines creamy cottage cheese and sweet peaches for a taste your whole family will love.
I got it! Pineapple.
Available in pineapple. Strawberry, too.
He's been called a modern-day Al Capone, a ruthless gangster in a Brioni suit, the Dapper Don. John Gotti has fascinated the public for some time, but we haven't heard him speak since he was sentenced to life in prison in 1992. Well, tonight you'll hear Gotti in prison talking about the things that matter to him, his family, his image, his life behind bars. John Miller gives you an exclusive look at government surveillance tapes. And when the Godfather talks, well, it's fascinating.
You know where I am? I'm in Marion Penitentiary. I'm in G Unit, the most secure unit in this planet. No contact, no nothing that ain't monitored or like that.
He is John Gotti, boss of the Gambino crime family, serving life in one of the nation's toughest, most secure prisons. All of Gotti's visits in jail are recorded by prison cameras.
Right now I'm cursed. I'm stuck in this joint here, and that's the end of it. You know, this is my realm right here. You know what I mean? That's the end of it. There's nothing I can do about it.
The tapes are a remarkable document because for the first time, Gotti, who has never done an interview, can be heard talking about what his life is like now.
Well, my whole life exists in a 6-by-6 foot cell. My whole life, day and night, night and day, every day.
We hired Jerry Capisi and Gene Mustaine to consult on this story about Gotti's life behind bars. Capisi works for the John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and Mustaine teaches at New York University. Together, they've authored 3 books on the mob.
What do I do? What kind of a quagmire am I in here?
They supplied us with these tapes of Gotti, made in Marion Prison, in January of 1998, during a visit between Gotti, his daughter Victoria, his brother Pete, and one of his grandsons.
Let me tell you something. I'll take your troubles and cancer. How's that sound? Fucking rats. I might never eat another meal with a fucking human being, the way they got me planned right now.
He was number one. I mean, he was number one in the media. He was the number one gangster. He was the Dapper Don. He was the Teflon Don. He was looked up to and feared by all members of his crime family.
Gotti took over the Gambino crime family in a burst of gunfire when he ordered the murder of the old boss, Paul Castellano. Gotti looked, sounded, and dressed like a gangster right out of the movies, a modern-day Al Capone.
One important factor with John Gotti is he beat the case 3 times in a row. That helped establish him as a folk hero.
And as the boss of the family, he ran the family with the iron hand.
Bruce Mao was the FBI agent who brought the case that Gotti couldn't beat. Tapes of Gotti meeting with gangsters, bugs that recorded Gotti talking about murders. And Gotti's right-hand man, Sammy the Bull Gravano, the star witness. Gotti hasn't forgotten.
You know why I'm here? It took them $80 million in 3 lying cases and 7 rats that killed 100 people in the witness protection program to find me reframe me, you understand?
He's blaming everybody for his own problems. And he keeps forgetting that he's there because of his big mouth, his arrogance for the law. He was our best witness at the trial.
Because he was on tape.
He was on tape.
Talking about murders.
That's right.
And there are moments when Gotti concedes he made his own bed.
I know where my mistakes are, where I made my mistakes. They're too late to remedy, you know what I mean? The fruits from them mistakes are here.
John, as you know, I know John Gotti very, very well.
Bruce Cutler has been John Gotti's lawyer since 1985.
He's a man of pride, principle, and dignity, and certainly as upbeat as one could be about life.
I feel good. Everybody should feel as good as I feel. I don't know how I look, but I feel great.
Gotti's life in prison is a lonely existence. 23-hour lockup, 1 hour a day in an outdoor yard that is caged in. No contact with other prisoners. But he says that doesn't bother him.
It don't take much to make some people happy. Other people need to have a planet, you know what I'm saying? Put me in that category, you know what I mean? I don't take much to make it. If this ain't spoiled milk, I'm happy for the day. You know what I mean?
Gotti spends his time working out and reading, but he prefers books on history and adventure to crime novels.
Ricky, how many times did I tell you I don't read murder mysteries?
A lot.
Why do you keep sending me murder mysteries? You think I'm a liar?
No.
Or you think I really know what I like?
How come no murder mysteries?
As soon as he opens it, he knows the outcome of the book, so he doesn't hold his attention.
Oh, well, he should have been a detective.
A policeman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
He's that's not what he wanted to be.
Beyond Gotti's reading habits, the tapes also reveal he is clearly on edge.
I mean, what part does this make sense? I'm trying to figure this whole thing out.
These tapes, by the way, were made right after his son was indicted. So if he's angry, if he's frustrated, do you blame him?
I mean, is my son a boss? He's no boss. There's no mom.
Gotti's son, John Jr., was rounded up with more than a dozen other alleged mobsters. He was charged with running the show for his father. But John Jr. wasn't arrested with members of the Gambino family from his father's old crew. Jr. had his own crew, people that his father had never heard of, with mob nicknames that left John Gotti a little perplexed.
This is stupidity from down the line. I can't even identify two people in the indictment. Marshall, I don't know, the Sea Monster.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Sigmund the Sea Monster, Tony the one-handed leprechaun, Philly jump over fence rule. I don't know where these people come from. Where did these? I'm not away 100 years. I'm only away 7 years. Where did these creatures emerge from?
Gotti couldn't understand how his son could have left investigators so many clues. In one of Junior's hangouts, investigators found what they said was a secret list containing the names of mafia members, 2 guns, and $380,000 in cash. Junior claimed it was his wedding money.
All I know is one thing, Pete. I don't think I'll ever find myself in a position where I'll put my wedding money, $380,000, whatever it is, in a basement near a broken safe with a bunch of old jewelry. I don't understand it. I mean, it behooves me, you know. Maybe somebody could put me on the right track.
And Gotti says, while he hates the prosecutors for targeting his son, he doesn't blame them, because he says his son made it too easy.
I want to slaughter them all. I don't want to kick them in their ass. I want to slaughter them all. I want to slaughter every one of them. This is on tape. But I don't blame them.
And when Gotti is not talking about the family's legal problems, he's giving his own version of fatherly advice to his grandson.
Let me tell you a little story, young fella. You don't even know what the word name calling is. When you go to school like I went to school with 2 different color shoes, broken shoes, and they call you white trash and bum and all that, you know, I went to school, you hadn't fought them. That's what it was all about. That's what people respected. The next day they see you, they salute you.
Gotti also offered his grandson some long-range career advice and shot down some role models.
John talks about, you know, whether the grandson might want to be a lawyer. The grandson says, well, maybe I might want to be a professional athlete. The grandson apparently was very good at the sport of baseball.
Let me tell you something about basketball players and baseball players. To be good basketball player or baseball player, first of all, you got to be a good liar, a good low life, and an imbecile.
Take a lot of drugs.
You got to take steroids. You must take steroids. And anybody that takes steroids is a garbage pail.
So he's putting him in his place a little bit. That's what a grandfather does when he's a little bit stern. And when the grandfather is in a glass house on a telephone, on 23-hour-a-day lockup, you can understand the frustration.
Another recurring theme in the tapes is Gotti's connection to what he used to call his public.
John Gotti always made it a point of proclaiming that he was his own man. And I think a lot of people find a very appealing message.
I got mail last night from Australia, South Africa, New Zealand. This is all last night. I send you you won't believe this mail, you know what I'm saying? Forget it.
He gets mail from all over the world, John, and responds to it with a 2-inch pencil, and his penmanship is second to none.
Gotti gets stacks of mail, but the family he says he really wants to hear more from is his own.
That's another thing. Did you hear me ask the last 2 years in a row to my family to please put all the kids together and send me a group picture at Christmas time? Did you ever hear me say that to you?
Yeah, we did do it.
You didn't do it this year.
Can we take pictures?
He was referring to one Christmas, the prior Christmas, where the photographs didn't come through. And I don't know why, and of course they did come through shortly thereafter.
So maybe I ain't got it coming. Maybe I flattered myself. Maybe me and a lot of other people think I'm more important than I really am. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever John Gotti's relationship is with his own family, the U.S. Department of Justice maintains he is still the boss of the Gambino crime family. And that's why they say they intend to keep him under the very restrictive conditions at Marion Prison.
Unfortunately, John has tried to run the Gambino family from Marion to this very day, and that's why he's not eligible for any transfer.
And they said, well, Mr. Gotti, you know, if you just sign on the dotted line here that you're not going to be part of any mob or group, of course you'll be in a normal place. He says no. He says no, John. He's not part of any mob or group.
Then why not sign?
Because he denies it.
There's no mob. Am I correct? As far as I know. As far as we know. As far as we know. So
if it becomes a metaphor as the second coming of Al Capone according to law enforcement, so be it. He had an impact. He's John Gotti. You'll never see another one, John.
You'll never see another guy like me if you live to be 5,000. I'll always be me. I'll always be a one-of-a-kind till the day I die. I'm tired.
The two authors in our story, Jerry Capisi and Gene Mustaine, will go online tomorrow to answer your questions live on our website, abcnews.com. That's tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. We'll be right back.
I'm Jim Gardner. He has been mistaken for the Center City rapist. Next, you can judge for yourself why police brought him in not once, but twice. And the tapes that may change the way you look at the exploits of the mob. And can childbirth make a new mom smarter? Next.
Wish you had a car that wasn't just another car? Wish it could be tight and precise and fun? And roomy and quiet? Wish it didn't take all your money to get your wish? Dodge Stratus. You make the wish. We make the car. Dodge Stratus SE. $16,275, including automatic transmission.
Shannon Sharp, please, has always talking trash.
You're paying, baby!
He's always trying to get inside your head.
Seahorse, you don't know your elbows from your...
And sometimes, he can get downright nasty.
I bet you pay transaction fees on your mutual funds. Your mama pays full commission. You know how to calculate a PE ratio?
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
How diversified is your portfolio?
we created a smarter kind of investor.
You can't even spell Dow Jones. Okay, guys, let's get this right. To calculate a PE ratio, you divide the stock price.
Coming up on 2020 Friday, a Barbara Walters exclusive. This teenager is a murderer. This 11-year-old boy was his victim. And now their heartbroken parents meet face to face. What will they say to each other? Could you move beyond bitterness and anger? A startling outcome on 2020 Friday. And don't forget 2020 Downtown tomorrow night at 10, 9 Central.
And that's our program for tonight. I'm Charles Gibson. Good night to all of you, and see you in the morning, Diane.
Oh, yes, and good night to you, Charlie. Don't forget Nightline after your local news. We'll be up early. Hope you will be too. I'm Diane Sawyer, and from all of us at 2020, good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Jets, Patriots, Monday night at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Up next, the Battleship New Jersey is almost home. We will tell you the best places to watch the final hours of the journey and the end of our spring-like weather next on Action News Tonight.